Oh boy, there's a lot I want to talk about. Hi guys, welcome back to What Fuels a Dancer. My name is Leah. I am a professional ballet dancer and a certified nutrition health coach. So as you can tell by the title, today we are going to be talking about a subject that I get asked about quite a bit, especially by young dancers and students. And that is if a dancer has to be on a diet to be successful. And I think it's a subject that a lot of professional dancers and students think about and go through quite often. So if you have ever experienced this, give this video a thumbs up and keep watching. So just as a disclaimer, every body is different with different nutritional needs and preferences when it comes to food. So it is always good to talk to your medical or nutritional professional about your unique case. All right, I'm gonna need some matcha. Okay, one distinction I want to make here is we can refer to dieting in two different ways. One is what I like to call our foodscape, which is what we specifically eat as individuals based on our nutritional needs and preferences. For example, you might be someone who doesn't like meat. Someone might like eating dairy and yogurt as a part of their diet, and someone might not. And so I kind of like to prefer this type of diet as our own individual foodscape. And then the second definition of a diet that we often see is adopting a way of eating that is usually restrictive, whether in terms of calories or food groups, in order to achieve certain body goals. When I speak to groups of dancers, there's often an expectation that I'm going to hand them a sheet of paper with a list of meals of exactly what they should be eating in order to be successful. Most dancers want to do everything in their power to be the best dancer that they can be. This drive is not inherently bad, but when it comes to nutrition, it can cause some detrimental outcomes. It can have an effect on the dancer's body and mind because diets often encourage us to take on unhealthy thought patterns and actions that ultimately affect our physical body and how we view ourselves, which is our body image. And it also affects our relationship with food. There's often a certain aesthetic that is wanted as a dancer, which is the long and lean limbs, the long neck, the arched feet, and the hyperextended legs. Almost everything involved in this aesthetic is genetically based or unattainable by almost everyone. But dancers are often fed the narrative that they have to try their hardest to reach this certain look. This encourages dancers to pick up harmful patterns like restrictive dieting or over-exercising. So dancers gravitate towards dieting for several different reasons. One, education surrounding nutrition is often steeped in diet culture. This is what we see in pop culture, whether in magazines or online. Two, dieting seems to provide the quickest fix. A lot of these ways of eating will have some sort of claim that they can make you look a certain way in a certain amount of time. And then three, dieting breaks down food into rules, which makes our food decisions a whole lot easier. Food rules allow us to put certain foods or food behaviors into good and bad categories. So food rules are things like carbohydrates are bad, I can't eat after a certain time of the day, I can only have so many calories, etc. So let's talk about how diets physically affect a dancer's body. Diets often focus on changing physical appearances. So it usually promotes a calorie deficit. When we eat in a calorie deficit, especially for dancers, this might mean that they are not eating enough food in order to fuel their body. This leads to an energy restriction that causes fatigue, which affects our physical ability and our performance level, which increases our risk of injuries and our recovery time. Diets also often limit certain types of macronutrients like carbohydrates or fat. which increases the likelihood of nutritional deficiencies. And it takes away our ability to listen to our hunger and fullness cues and any cravings that we have. This means it can also affect our body's many important processes, like our metabolism, immune system, hormone functions, and menstrual health in women. When we do not have enough energy in order to get through a long day of dance, we will often lose our motivation and focus inside of the studio. So dieting not only affects us physically, but it also affects us mentally. Calorie counting and sticking to food rules gives us this sense that we are in control, which I think dancers are often looking to find. But dieting encourages us to look at food and eating behaviors in black and white. We label them as good or bad, which perpetuates a poor relationship with food and disordered eating patterns. When we see foods as good or bad, we have a positive image of ourselves and our self-worth when we eat perfectly. But if we ever eat a bad food, we can start to think negatively about ourselves. And these foods that we often put on the bad list are usually foods that are dense in calories. When we are not intaking enough calories, or we are limiting certain types of food, our bodies will increase our hunger cues and cravings towards calorie-dense foods, which drives us to obsess over these foods that we can't have. When we do eat one of these foods that we put on a bad list, we might feel defeated and like we can't control ourselves, and that we are actually bad for eating that food. It is easy to fall into self-criticism and experience anxiety and a distrust in yourself when you are surrounded in situations when you have to make food choices. When I was stuck in this negative pattern, I realized looking back that I was constantly thinking and worrying about what I ate, what I was going to eat, and what I looked like. And it took my focus away from classes and rehearsals, and really took away my ability to enjoy dancing. I think it's really important to bring up here that if you experience negative thoughts about yourself or have harmful food behaviors, it is important to know that you are not alone. I would encourage you to talk to a health professional like a doctor, nutritionist, dietitian, or health coach, and confide in someone that you trust. When I was changing my approach towards eating in my body, one of my best friends was also going through this as well, and we were a support system for each other to talk about what we were feeling and to celebrate any small shifts. So then you might be thinking, well, how am I supposed to know what I should eat? How do we find a way that fuels our bodies and helps us thrive in our dancing? This is where intuitive eating comes in. Remember when I was telling you about what dancers often expect from my talks? Instead of giving them a meal plan, I give them some basic nutritional information that they can then use to apply to their own bodies. Intuitive eating is all about meeting your energy and nutrition needs through food, and these will be foods that make you feel comfortable, satisfied, and fueled. And these foods will look different from dancer to dancer. It makes way for mindfulness surrounding food choices and allows you to have body awareness as you listen to your cravings and needs. It's empowering to be able to make food choices that will not only nourish your body, but will allow you to enjoy and not obsess over food. There's going to be an entire video coming soon where we are going to be talking about intuitive eating for dancers in depth. I know this can be a difficult subject when it comes to talking about nutrition in dance, but it's really important to address and talk about negative food behaviors that can often occur in dancers. I was once there myself. I have a link to a blog post on this subject down below, so feel free to head over if you want to read more in depth on the effects of diet culture on our bodies and our brains. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment down below one thing that you love and appreciate about yourself. I would absolutely love if you subscribe to this channel because it really supports me and it lets you know when new videos are posted. You can also let me know in the comments down below if there's anything that you want me to talk about on this channel. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye guys. This is so good. This is my chocolate dance.